Hello, everyone. Welcome to our energy update. So, this is a bit different from our previous energy update, which I usually do a monthly kind of session, but there's more of a glitch of a timeline. So, I'm overlapping between March and April timeline. So, that's what they call the God's timeline and the Revelation timeline. So, or we could probably say different dimensions, multi-dimensions, overlapping of different timelines at the same time. Can you imagine? Maybe like from first to 12th dimension overlapping to whatnot. It's all operating, overlapping. So you probably call it, there's a glitch in the matrix. So anyway, and I can't really, haven't done the March update for the energy. I haven't even uploaded the February. So let's go straight to April because April is big. But at the same time, the effect of March would affect April. So it's overlapping. So I would probably say just because we just need some indicator, we would probably say that there is, two different timelines. It's I cannot say like March and April, we can't really say month and time. We don't have this specificity in this timeline that I'm in right now, which I probably choose God's timeline or Sarah's timeline, a little bit still operating on third dimension. So there's weird, as we could say, weird things are going on, overlapping. I could go on forever, but we won't have enough time in this time span. So let's begin with the acronym that I've downloaded. So April is APRIL. So I'm supposed to create a PowerPoint presentation in this. I'll probably create one again, but it won't be as probably as it's more like an organized, structured thing. But I'm just gonna go for this. No editing, just live recording. So I created an acronym out of the energy and just what event is happening around March and April. March is a little bit of a madness. March madness, I would probably say, because it's just this energy of Pisces, it's still here. And it's like double Pisces for the month and ending of Pisces and shifting to Aquarius, which is the golden age or the golden time. So Pisces age is ending because we are ending because we don't use we use Julian calendar just because that's just how we operate here on our matrix or third dimension in this timeline. But I would probably prefer more of the Chinese calendar, that the start of the year is in February. For me, I felt like April would be like the start of a real good year because January, February, March is a lot of cleanup, a lot of madness. And for me, April will be the big one. It's just the beginning of a different time, not of the year of 2022, but it's just a different timeline of shift in April. There's still a lot of remnants in January, February, March. So that's why we don't really have a peg really on like, particular month or date or time, although numerology numbers is very important. That's how gods operate through numbers. But what I'm trying to see, because there's a lot of shift and changes, it depends on the event. If that has been accomplished, there will be also different shift. But what I really felt which is accurate and what's going on is it's more the delayed is how we respond towards that, right? And then how we strategy and try to project ourselves or at. So the only, how would I say, the only, not permanent, we cannot really say even the word permanent, will be, because we are ever evolutionary being and our place is ever evolutionary ascending. So the universe itself is changing. The earth itself is ascending. So there's a lot of movement, okay? March movement. And as being, which also have the free will or not to be affected with what's going on, because you can't help it. It's just where you are. You'll be affected whether you like it or not. Like if this whole thing shake, you're inside of it, you can't say you're not affected. Everybody is affected. No one is left behind. So everyone has a different effect. And it could be universal too, that have the same, different, or different but the same. It's all collective, as we could say. So let's start. I think that was, I don't know if there's a clarity on that introduction, but whatever, there's still code on that. Let's start with our energy update. So April, letter A first is about astrological. Pay attention to astrological signs because it's very relevant. I'm trying to study astrological signs, and it's always relevant with the energy and all that. I'm always fascinated with astrology, the stars or the alignment, and whatever it is. They don't lie. They just, fulfill what it is that is it. And universal reading of all astrological, I think there's a pattern on that people like astrology. You cannot kind of edit it, or you cannot infiltrate astrology as well as, I don't know, astronomy, you know what I mean? So it's like a blueprint of something that whatever happens, it's still going to be a blueprint of, it's like an akashic record of everything. A blueprint, that's like the plan, regardless, that's cannot be destroyed because it's the alignment of everything. It's where they're in place in the universal. So it's like the blueprint of a subdivision of lot, and the numbers might change, but if they've already kind of cut it according to their lot, you're not going to have this different lot. It's not going to be mixed up. You're going to be the exact same, whatever the construction it is at the top of it. The lot itself has already been subdivided, Also, the planet itself has it, and whatever it is under it, it's exactly the same, regardless of what's going on above. So as above, so below. So that's how I felt about astrological. So really, really go to your astrology and see your birth chart and just see the astrological position for this month. And there's a lot of really good, information out there in YouTube. Like, just watch Palm Gregory right now. She's amazing. I just kind of like resonate every word she said. And there's just these two guests who are like Zach and channeler, and they really have a lot of really valuable points. When they said it, just resonate. I'm just like, yeah, glued watching them. So, or I could probably just put a link down here for Palm Gregory's what I said. Also at the same time, who's this guy too? He's channeling about Arcturians, I guess, or Pleiadians, and he has a guest. His name, what's her name again? I'll find it, but she's really good. She's really good. How does she call herself? she's doing like light languages when, before she speaks, and just spot on every details. That's just like the balancer of everything. So you're very neutral, but on point. I think she's the only channeler that well, not because there's really a lot of good, great channelers, just really very neutral. And she has that really a sense of balance that, you can't just blame everything for what's going on. You have to take responsibility that we are mirroring here what's going on around the globe, whether we call them our enemy or, the other side of the fence is also us, because we are one. So that's it. Like whatever they're doing, we have to make sure, like, are you doing anything? Like if you throw anything about, like the authority or whoever is in charge is doing all this, really not so nice in our thought or what, or in our current time, then it's just, it's just them. Anyway, so that's A for astrological, and then Aquarius time, A for Aquarius time, that we are shifting into this Aquarius, a golden age, and that's very, very promising. As you can see, that's part of the prophecy. Okay, one moment. So yeah, so we are okay. Just need to grab something. Oh God, I need that. So anyway, we are at the Aquarius time of age, golden age. We're coming through, and it's really promising. I thought it would be nice to just, sit in and have the intention of manifestation of appreciation, I guess, of what we have. It's just start with, sitting down first and really focus on what's the intention. We're going to help build a vibration, just being there, being, how would I say, being there in what you want to become. Just hold that thought, by feeling good first about self. So self-love, body care, anything that feel good about yourself. Like for me, it's important to make sure I feel good. But okay, speaking of trying to make myself feel good, when I think when we were all on this kind of almost 2 year of lockdown and all that, in this timeline, we were like, how would I say, I did try to create my own timeline, but it's just there's a struggle. Of course there is a struggle, but I always take an effort to create a timeline that I want, like being at the new earth, having this new earth wellness, manifesting this new earth. We would go to different parts, but the winter is a little bit tricky when you're I mean, especially, it's hard to, especially there's no sun, the light really helps a lot in exposing truth, and activating whatever code we have in our DNA, if it's our time. And it's a healing. There's just a powerful force, the sun. And during winter time, it's all, your head is clouded. And I would feel, if I like, there's a lot of emotions that is still existing, because of course we are all that. We are all emotional being, spiritual being, with strong emotions and strong senses. And I would always say, oh God, it's just, you could feel all the energy, what's going on around, especially right now, the March madness. So I would breathe in instead of saying March madness, and that's quite okay, I try to find the neutrality, because before I would just try to, oh, I don't want to think about it, the dark side and go down to the rabbit hole, but I just want to focus on positivity and that, because like, I don't want to go down there. But then when I started going down the rabbit hole, it wasn't as, it's really, really, your stomach can't, but I was prepared to go down the rabbit hole, to not myself, but just research to really know the extensive of it, of what's really going on. And my God, it's mind-blowing. You can't find it in the mainstream media. You could find it. It's so, I felt like all this, I'm going back to the past timeline, like said at the time of the war, all this little small pockets of gathering of what we call, not the rebel, but the people, probably, who really wants freedom and independence and all that would gather in like a coffee shop or a pharmacy, and then they have this little secret, and that comes with like codes and stuff like that. You could find it, that, and censorship. That's what's going on right now in mainstream media, right? You can't just print anything before a newspaper, because they all control the newspaper. So you have this little gathering of finding where to, you'll find your tribe hidden, the hidden truth, and they were hiding. So I felt like I was part of those, kind of like coding and the spy and stuff like that. As so, like, it's like in the movie. I'm always obsessed how they were able to decode things, and I'm that like, oh my God, I would try to decode these things, and I'm obsessed in doing decoding just because it's interesting. Even before all those things happen, when whether we call it awakening or what, but then we cannot deny it is really a grand awakening. That's A2, because we're talking April. So that's the first was about astrological, as I've mentioned. So we're just gonna like summarize the letter A, astrological, and then the age of Aquarius, where we're sitting, where we are at the event. Aquarius is just the opening of a promising new age. So I felt like, whatever it is that they said about biblical, but biblical is happening. It could be you manifest it, or it could be a guide or whatever. But then it's obviously whatever happens on the Bible from beginning to the end. We are at the revelation time, whether we like it or not. So it might be that we have manifested it because everybody of us reading this Bible, but transmute it, use all those tools, transmute it to whatever intention that you use, you're in between, you're in the dark or in the light, and that's just you. Every being has, I call it the chi. You're in the light, you're in the dark, you're feminine, you're masculine, and those two are relevant. The other one cannot exist with the other. You cannot be separated. Those two. It's part of who you are. And yeah, so I've mentioned astrological, Aquarius, and ascension. Okay, let's talk about ascension. Oh my goodness, the ascension Simpson is like, oh my goodness. I felt like every night at 3, whatever time it is, 3 a.m. onwards, I would have like my third eye here. This part is just inside of it. It's, how do they call that? What is varina in the English? Those like tools when there's like trying to dig a hole on the nails, like in the wood, like trying like these tools. I don't know about the tools, it's like somebody is like trying to create a hole and then put the nails on. That's how I felt in the middle, like just here inside of it. So it's like third eye activation. That's how, and then it will be gone. It was just like I could feel it, like I could feel it inside my brain. And also, so I'm not sure, they said there's and I've confirmed this too, like a vertical meridian. The vertical meridian is activated to, so like connect the balance of the dizziness. That's just like what's manifesting to me, the dizziness. And they call it like the Mandela effect or the glitch in the timeline. I've experienced that also, like when I remember or I know I'm here, and then I would wake up, I know that I am not supposed to be here, and I forget about everything on my present timeline. That, you know, whoever I am in this the present, like I wake up in a different kind of point of view who I am, and I don't recognize. So like amnesia, but not amnesia, like I felt like, oh God, why am I here? Like I won't recognize everything. And vivid dreams, you know, like vivid dreams, the dreams are just, so I would ask questions, and on my dream at night I would have all the answers. Amazing. Okay, hey, don't hide. You cannot tell where you are. Okay, hold on. So like vivid dreams, like astral dreams. So okay, so I have this dream always at night with children. I would always be with children, kind of like being there with them, because my heart really goes like it's more of, I mean, it's not um so I was with children, different children. Some of them are familiar. Some of them I felt like some of them are my kids, I guess, or something. But I'm with children and we are in a different place. This is okay, this like a beautiful place with children. We're like at the beach front of this powder white beach sand, and beautiful turquoise water. It's just aquatic turquoise, you know, all those beautiful colors, like, and pearl white sand. It's just like sparkling, beautiful powder white sand, and their little feet on it. So we are in a place where there's learning, you know. We're like in a meeting, and different women, strong, powerful women, but very feminine energy, strong. So like there's a balance of it, and like in a very neutral stage. And then there's a bit of a laughter, and then there's like a serious tone, but not intense, you know, like a serious tone, very neutral. I felt like it's like a learning center, not a school, because it's an outdoor and different age of children, different race, just different kinds of beautiful little children's, different age, and even women, different age and generation, and just they're very like we know exactly what we do, you know, very intentional. Whatever we do is very intentional. Felt like a perfect place, if I could say. Very ideal, not very neutral, not too ecstatically happy, but not too ecstatically relaxed, you know. So just there's the neutral, is harmony. That's the term, harmony and balance, and safe. Harmony, balance, those are the words that we are so A is for astral. This is like my astral dream. And then So we're all wearing this kaftan, you know, like a kaftan dress, like a resort dress, um, different colors. Um, but it's more like there's more white on it, and there's just little details of just different colors, red, blue, green, you know, brown, you know, all this kind of like the batik style too. So everyone wears different just style. It distinguished for there's no uniform, you know, like, but it's the same different kind of style of kaftan, like long dress till your feet, and then the learning place or whatever it is that we're doing, we are like foot our bare is our feet are bare, you know, and we're grounded like on the sand, on the white beach sand. It's not too hot, it's not too like a perfect temperature. I'd probably say perfect temperature that I've tried is like, you know, where you go to like Cancun, Mexico. I feel like that's one of the perfect, or even at Cancun when it's just 20, I don't know, 22, 25 degrees Celsius. So I thought it would be perfect, or 27, something like that. Like just a perfect temperature, not too cloudy, not too sunny, but it's just, yeah. So I felt neutrality, and then there's white, which is also like a purity, and then intent, empowered, and kids are empowered. They're just like smart and bright and innocent and pure, but powerful kids. Yeah, I could feel like the energy of everyone, that every one of them has their own part of like the whole big puzzle, you know. That's how I felt, like everyone on that area, on that place where I am, every voice is important. There is no about, you know, so even the adults and the kids, they don't like, not, we don't treat them like kids or children, but so everything that they speak also is important to listen, and it's valuable. Everyone is valuable. There's no, it's only valuable because you're the head of something like that. So it's just very fascinating. That's one of my astral dreams. So very vivid. Take note of it. I take note of it and just, you know, ask meaning. What is this? What is this word? And so what I'm trying to see is like the like a prophecy of what it is that would happen to like schools. It would be like a learning center, and the weather for the world will be a perfect tropical. There won't be any snow anymore. That's just how I sense. It should be all tropical and very abundant and pristine, you know, and then, and it does, it's just a place where everybody just with nature. The learning is within the nature itself. Very practical, as may say. So that's the last of the A, I guess, which is astral. So astrological, Aquarius, ascension, whatever it is that we fill with ascension, and the last would probably the astral. So it's all about women and children, and my A, I guess. So yeah, very exciting. Academy. I could probably put it academy. So like, academy, my astral dream is academy. That's April. So I'm gonna dig more into that. Okay, so astrological, Aquarius, ascension, astral, you know, astral dream, and academy, new academy, and an astral academy for children and women in a beautiful paradise, or we could probably say the new earth, you know. Anyway, let's jump into P. P is about purification, you know, pureness, purification, or it could be purging. So purging, so you could be purified, you know, a lot of pushing too. So we all, as much as we manifest what is good, but then there's also remnants of, we cannot judge good or bad, right? So this is a process. Letter B is a process of purging, of purification, of the population, of the people. So this is the people. It's time for the people to be purified by purging whatever it is that is not proper, or it's not in alignment, I guess. So purification, purging, the people will be the power. People power will be rising about again. And there's another P that just goes through. I'll remember it. So purification, purging, people's purging, so they could be purified. And when they're purified, they feel empowered. They're very potent and they feel powerful. So because what they're aiming is peace. So we could probably see some peace also within, or it would reflect, you know, the place, whatever it is. So yeah, there's a lot of B. I just, you know, I downloaded one, but now I'm auto, like auto channeling, I guess, myself, and just whatever it is that's coming through. This is it. The guide to the spirit, or, you know, God within me, the one infinite God, the source, the spirit guides, angelic realms, and all that are within me. I'm just not one person, but I'm a people, you know, like a lot. A lot of me just in this one body. So that's about the multiverse. We could talk about that in a different timeline, probably. Okay. It's a lot for P, right? So purification of the people. There will be purging. Like, oh my God, I could really talk about a little bit about purging, because a lot of like people try to reach out to me that's been going through a lot of, you know, emotions and a physical manifestation, like physical pain. So there's still pain. In purging, there's pain, so you cannot say without pain, right? You're trying to purify yourself to become potent, so there will be pain, and through that pain you feel you know, purge. With that purge you feel the pain, and now that you was able to see your potent self, you'll be empowered. But it's a process. It's a process. But it's up to you. The process is still up to you. You could proceed, or you could just pause. It's all about people. So you could pause or you could proceed, you know, like, I'm just going to proceed to the next. So we proceed to the next, right? You could pause or you could proceed, or you could play. It's like a record, right? Play or pause. I will play and proceed. Okay, let's proceed to R. R is about the return of Christ, resurrection. That's what they said. Last year was the resurrection. This year is about the return of Christ consciousness. And is this also significant to Christians, where they what were they? I used to be Christian. I'm still a Christ consciousness, but I don't want to be associated with any religion. So a lot of works of Christ that I was living for such and such a time, in place and in time, And a lot of it is really, really like Christ-centered living. And it always has a positive effect on me and the people around me. And yeah, it protects me. So maybe I could put that P. Protects me, and was able to enjoy a potent and powerful life. And yeah, it's the return of Christ, the Christ consciousness that has been gone for us. That is the unveiling of us. We are all Christ. Jesus was the Christ that we should become. So we have, every one of us has Christ within us. Jesus was able to manifest the Christ consciousness that, the Father, the one infinite creator, was able to, it's like Jesus' mission as the Son of God, as the ascended master, to able to perform what it could entails to be in human form and your spiritual self, the ascended master that was sent here to earth. So of course the thing would be to save the humanity, like the salvation, right? That's how Christians would preach. And all of those have like meaning. So they it was a grace, that would save them, the grace of God that won't be earned, but only the grace of, through the grace of Christ. So through the grace, when you believe, it's like having faith on your Christ consciousness that within you. And even in the Bible, they would always say that you are the temple of God. Your body is the temple of God, so God is within you. So, and you have to live your life as if God is within you. But it's hard when, when a lot of it around you and surround you would always be instigating fear, right? So they would always create some fear factor, or maybe we would attract fear factor and all that in every way. So it won't empower us. We're not being purified to our all potency to be powerful being like Christ, like how Jesus lived here. So if we could able to manifest and follow, meaning follow what did Jesus do to be able to manifest the Christ consciousness within him in this matrix here on earth, right? So that's a lot of people is drawn to him because he has that presence of just vibing that energetic frequency, that there's something about Christ that I want something, and I just, you're just the magnifying. So everybody just, is thirsty. We are all thirsty of the love that Christ could have it in him and his people that surrounds him. It's probably be like I don't know if even the word enigmatic is a proper word. It's just heavenly, probably, if you're around with Christ and Jesus. And that's it right now. We could activate our Christ consciousness. Isn't it amazing? Like we thought before, it's just Jesus could do that. We could be, or we are, or we're supposed to be the Christ consciousness as individual. So we would see about that, how we could navigate through that. So I think what they're saying is Jesus Christ is the blueprint of every individual. Can you imagine if all of us would be able to manifest that kind of life here on earth. It's heaven and earth, and then the new earth would exist. And all of this, we could probably cancel everything, cancel, delete, and just fast forward and proceed to the new earth. So I don't know, that's just how I thought it would be nice, because I always try to be positive as much. It's not always having all the time positivity. I find hope. I always have hope within. I always see good things in every human being, because all of us are just instigated with fear, or the delusion through program. All of us has been programmed. No one has escaped that, until you will be awakened, I think, in your own timeline that I cannot really explain further. There's still a lot of mystery. That's why every one of us, every information of us is relevant. Whether you have some people who always talk, and then you thought all the information that they have is valuable. Yes, they are valuable, and your is valuable. That's why we have to be here around and spreading all this information, I guess. Then we could create this whole puzzle and be done with this puzzle, and we could have another puzzle to open. Yeah, well, I was summoned. I'm back and resurrected. Return. So we are returning to Christ consciousness, which is very important. And it's in April, Holy Week, the return of Christ. This is the second coming of Christ. And who knows what's going to happen? But maybe Christ would really return. Who knows? Things could just change and shift if we really need him. Or we need the Christ consciousness to have the physicality. I don't know. Might be surprised, but it's hard to have kind of like the final thing, or like, yeah, is it the final answer? We can't really give a final answer right now. We might need a friend to call. So that's letter R, resurrection. Ripple. What is this ripple? I have a bright ripple. The ripple effect, probably like a domino effect. So there's a ripple. Ooh. Well, there's retribution here. I write and I crossed it. So maybe if the retribution has been served, like this is the divine justice I'm telling you before. I'm not sure if I've told this, but there's a retribution. Yeah, like a karma retribution. So retribution, like whatever you do, it's going to go back to you and more. So that's the retribution. When the Christ return, I guess there would be retribution to those who, maybe the real people that needs to be crucified to be our Roman. Oh my God, okay. So it was the Roman who crucified Christ, biblically speaking. So when he returns, would it be retribution to those who have been done or whatever, or rounded out would be the term. A retribution to those who are doing things for, not very humane, if I may say that word. This is payback. And for those who try to do peace and loving, it would go back to them, the ripple effect, the retribution. That's just how it is. You harvest what you've planted. If you've planted good crop, you'll gain a good crop. If you've planted bad crop and it was a bad season, you end up with nothing, so there's profit and loss. It's just business, people. That's just how it is. Okay. So you see, when I present, there's always like both sides, the the light and what's the reality. So I could probably add reality and R. What are the reality, the real reality, which is the illusion will be lifted and the real reality would be made public. Let's see about that. Maybe the public will be on the P, which is, public known about some very potent information. Speaking of information, let's ripple it up to letter I, which is, I said, isotonic information. Okay, fill me up with isotonic information. I don't know. I just write them down, but they said isotonic information. Probably. Hold on, just a view. I'll find the meaning of isotonic just to, to give this a go. Isotonic. Of muscle action taking place with normal contraction. Denoting or relating to a solution having the same atomic pressure or some other solution, especially one in a cell or a body fluid. Okay, let's see. What is an isotonic example? Common example of isotonic solutions are 0.9 normal saline and lactated ringers. These fluids are useful when the patient has lost fluid volume from blood loss, trauma, or dehydration due to excessive nausea, vomiting, or diarrhea. Saline and lactated ringers. What is isotonic in the body? Okay, isotonic is a term used to describe solutions and chemistry, and sometimes muscles in human biology. In chemistry, a solution is said to be isotonic when it has the same concentration of solutes as another solution across a semi-permeable membrane. The use of isotonic in human anatomy is used more rarely. To saline, water, dextrose. Okay, so what is the importance of isotonicity? The isotonic solution allows the cells to move water and nutrients in and out of the cells. This is necessary for blood cells to perform their function of delivering oxygen and other nutrients to other parts of the body. Wow. All right, so that's yeah. What I'm getting is isotonic is like dehydrating, the body nutritions and putting them in place. In your body, there's like chemistry, there's solution on it. So, there's dextrose, they seal in water and some sodium, whatever. And there's 0.9%. So there's number 9 on that, which is God's number. Or 9 would be like the delivery of something. So isotonic information. I don't even know the meaning of it. I just write it there, isotonic information. So there will be a deliverable of information where it should be, it should belong. Could be, or I don't know, it could be a chemical solution to, because it's more of a like isotonic is something, you know, when you're dehydrated or you have loss in anything, it replaces all the nutrients in your body to have a proper function again. So it goes back to what it should belong. And all the nutritions that's needed of the body would be in place. So some information would be in place, or there's just a solution on that. So that's interesting. Also, isotonic information is very interesting. And I am focused on your I am, like what is your body need nutrients, you know, put in place. Um whatever, like salt water too, right? That's the salt water that you could be like maybe Epsom salt or whatever. Yeah, so put the nutrients which is in place, all the information that you need to be in place. Also, it could be physical manifestation which is in your body. Put all the proper nutrition where it should be. There's a lot of placing things on its proper yeah. So, well, you know, like we all have all this like an IV infusion, I guess, towards that. As a whole, as Gaia, like our body would be in place individually and as a whole, energetically, you know, earthly, whatever, everything will be in place and replenished. Who's there? I'm here because I need to charge. So we are at isotonic information, and there will always be interruption in between, especially if you have, you know, a lot of roles. So speaking of a lot of roles, we have a lot of intensity too when it comes to kind of energy. There'll be a little interruption later. There will be a lot of interruption, intervention, information overload, intensity. So just be prepared, I guess. And, you know, there will be a lot of infinity loop to everything. And of course, the positive side is intention. Not the positive, you know, but just the light. Anything about the light is intention. So I just manifested an interruption. So intuition, use a lot of your intuition. First, before you do intuition, there will be like you know, intention of clarity. Intention is really important. And, you know, intention what you want, and always try to, you know, do the good intention and knowing what is, you know, why do you want that. So manifestation of your intention is relevant right now. There's really a lot of manifestation of information too that you want to know. If you're into that, I love learning. I'm into it. I'm into it, which is into it and into it. All of us has our own intuition. So make sure you have the clarity of intuition and the clarity of intention, and then the intuition would just give you all the information you needed to inform you and to imply to your intention of what either it's gonna improve your life or intense your relationship in a good way, you know, like whatever, if you're trying to manifest something relationship wise or what, you know. So there's a lot of, I mean, all those, these are all adjective that it could go into different directions. So it's up to you. What is your intention? Are you using this for either to enlighten yourself? What is this intention of the letter I that you have? And for me, it's I am. Focus on I am, and everything would just, well, I cannot promise that, but I think that if you focus on I am, which is your own inner self knowing, because it's um infinite knowing of inner self, inner works. It's just a lot. So it's, you know, it's on your hand. I am whoever. So that's one of the isotonic information, and all about I that I just said. I don't know. It's just um information and information just going through right now. So resonate what really works well for you. It could be just one I in everything that I've mentioned. It's really up to you. That comes to free will. And of course, let's go for L. Speaking of I am, right? Activating your I am, that is also your light codes. There's a lot of light codes coming in this March and oncoming April. So I thought I would really have all this energy update as much as early. Usually I kind of do the, but it's usually if I do the energy update on, because I always have this kind of like advanced screening what would be the energy, and then it's just, you know, manifest itself in its own. It would distribute like isotonic information distribute in its proper time or proper place, something like that. So light codes, light language, light codes are coming through on April when the spring is coming. Spring equinox is coming on April 12. So it's I always call the April is spring equinox for me. I always term is at Sakura. Sakura is in Japanese, meaning, you know, the cherry blossom. In between the cherry blossom, before the cherry blossom, it's the end, the spring, right? Those pink, beautiful cherry blossom in Japan. It's all about the end of a season and beginning. And then the new beginning of spring, the end of winter and the beginning of spring, the end of a season and the beginning of a new season, the end of the old season and the beginning of a new season. It could be, you know, the end of the matrix and the beginning of the unveiling of reality is the beginning. So, you know, you still see the remnants of the old, and you could see the crack of the beginning. So it could just still in between, you know, it could be a lightning force in between the sound and the light who travels fast. Of course, the light travels faster than the sound. So whichever comes first, it's, you know, is it the announcement or just seeing it? So whatever it takes, just be prepared, right? Just be prepared, open your, you know, heart into whatever it is that's going on. And one of the, aside from light codes, it's also about light languages, you know. Light languages is your communications towards the light energy. Like for me, it's a communication that's like my soul being language. When I would activate the light language that I am receiving or if I'm trying to activate my soul's blueprint inside of me, like it's just, you know, you do it in the morning or you do it in the nighttime, or you just felt that there's no words here, you know, like our vocabulary words here in either English or whatever language that you could speak. You could, you know, have multi-language. And then there's my favorite, the light language, is like my soul's language. That's just the blueprint of my soul's language. And I would always activate it just to align myself to my higher self. And every time, if I would probably miss doing the light language within myself, um it's hard. It's a hard day. I mean, it won't be an easy day. It's not really bad, but I mean, those are just the terms that we are familiar with. But how would I say, if I activate the light language within me, alignment, manifestation, you know, the kind of the law of attraction, everything is like striking in a good way, you know, things just happen, and a lot of surprises on that day. And, you know, a lot of information, a lot of download, a lot of ideas, you know, creativity and all that's just activating. Or I don't know, it could be also because, like, you know, for women, we have also our, we call it like our own cycle too. When are we creative? When are we like really manifesting the masculine energy to, you know, creating a pattern or a process and all that. So yeah, it's just harmony. Create the harmony of light codes and your light language. Take things lightly. If it's intense, then you do something that would lighten up, and lighten up your space, your mind. Bring on some lights, you know, lots of lights. Just give a lot of lights, and a lot of love to lights. Just for L2, I think that's the most potent and most powerful code, aside from the light codes, is love, the love language, not just the light codes and the light, which is a very, very okay, my throat chakra is really activating because I'm giving information. So anyway, when I pause this, just download comes through me that I have to speak about. So it's more of an interruption for me to listen and just, okay, pause what it is that I have to speak, you know, I need to speak. So what was the information that I have is liberation, light workers liberation. So there's a lot of light workers. Through light workers, there's liberation. Light workers liberation. So liberation of light workers. So through light codes and light language, the light workers will, through love language at the same time, and through the light and love, there will be liberation to each and every individual soul and being here on the new earth. So happy April. I hope, yeah, okay, giving hope to April. So I hope this April energy update, or March, April, because there's a timeline shift, would be a good guide and or activate whatever it is that you have. So sending everybody almost and always, it sounds whatever corny or whatever, but I will always end it to, you know, sending everybody love and light and liberation.